Good afternoon. I'm Cindy Bertram, and thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. Yes, we've had a very, very exciting week and a half because the Carnival Jubilee was just actually named last week, which is great. And they actually had a really fantastic godmother christened the ship. Gwen Stefani was a godmother, and I was able to view it online on Saturday through their Facebook Live. It was great, just a great, great ceremony. And I couldn't be there in person, but it was great to see the christening because those are always very, very fun to do too. And I know that she performed about 6 songs afterwards, but it's great to actually see the christening episode itself too live, which is great too. So but good ships happen all the time because we have new ships coming out and updates of other ships too, which is great too. So just wanted to share more about that too. And also, as mentioned, we've got a lot of new ships coming up this year still, yes. And I know that one that just, they did actually get acquisition of it is Princess Cruises Sun Princess, okay? And what happened, Sun Princess got a little bit delayed, but once again, they just actually took possession of it. And right now, it's their first new ship in over a decade. She's finally here, and it's much awaited. What happened? There was a 20-day delay by the shipyard. But what they did was they just sailed out. Originally, she was going to be sailing out on February 8th, but what they did was they just departed actually yesterday on February 28th. And she is sailing right now on a 10-day night sailing across the Mediterranean. And she departed from Civitavecchia, Italy, which is the port from Rome. And as far as the Sun Princess, much awaited, but once again, too, is it's accommodates 4,300 passengers. And as mentioned, she was supposed to debut February 8th. Some things came up as far as delay, but she just sailed out. And it was such a great, great thing that took place, of course. And what they did was it's really their next level love boat firsthand. And John Paget, who is Princess Cruises president, Wednesday's when they actually started the first sailing. So it was actually February 28th. And they mentioned more about the ship. It sounds fantastic. I'd love to see it sometime too. It's been in development for over 6 years now, but it's the first of Princess Cruises' new Sphere-class vessels. It's been designed to be significantly larger than the previous Princess ships, but also has some new things on it. For instance, as far as some new offerings on board, this is the first Princess ship with suites that come with an exclusive access to a private restaurant, a lounge, and sun deck. And it's really an effort to draw more upscale class customers too. And also, there's this innovation type of cabana cabin, and it's extra side wide 10th deck, and it's got a private deck area too, which is great. And some other things too is as far as some other differences between the Sun Princess and some of the other princess ships. It doesn't have a buffet restaurant on the main pool deck, but also the key thing is there's still buffet like venue on the ship. It's 8 decks below the pool deck, and it's closer to the ship's central plaza, which is great, central piazza. And I think that's wonderful too, because once again, sometimes when you're out on deck, as far as the pool deck, you're thinking, well, sometimes it's better to go to another area to get some buffet, which is great too. And also, as far as the Sun Princess, it's the biggest ship that Princess has ever built. It's about 22% bigger than their previously bigger built ships, and it's designed but just to hold 17% more passengers. So really, what I like about it too is the space to passenger ratio is greater, making it much roomier for guests, but also it is actually 177,882 gross registered tons. As mentioned, it only accommodates about 17% more passengers, which is great. I think it was 4,700 guests. And this is actually the first time Princess launched a new class of ship in nearly 11 years. And as far as the Sun Princess, she right now is doing her first sailing in Europe. and she'll be sailing Europe right now through the fall. Then she's going to be repositioning to Fort Lauderdale for voyages to the Caribbean, and those will be 7-night Caribbean sailings. Also, they've got another ship coming out later on. I think got delayed a bit, but it's going to be called, and they're Sphere-class ships. The second Sphere-class ship is going to be called the Star Princess. It's in order right now. It might be delivered by 2025. I'm not sure. But once again, if we more information about this, I'll be able to share for you too. But it's really great because once again, it's always exciting to hear and see about new ships coming in. As mentioned, Icon Seas was just officially christened back on January 23rd, and she's now sailing course, different itineraries from Florida. And this is one, of course, reminder that has the first chief dog officer on board a cruise ship. Her name is Rover. She is a 6-month-old golden retriever. She's actually, I think, the cruise industry's first chief dog officer. She's there to create smiles and joy for people that are guests on board the ship, and she is with the captain, but also just walk around. She has a caregiver too, of course. So she's not alone too, which is really great too. So that's good to kind of really explain that too. I think that's really, really fun too. So that's great too. And something else too, as far as new ships coming out, of course, I know that I've mentioned a lot more about the new ships coming out, and one, of course, is going to be Virgin Voyages. And the Resilient Lady is going to be offering Caribbean cruises with 7, 8, 10, 11-night voyages, all starting from the iconic port of San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is beautiful. I've been there several times. It's one of my favorite places to sail out of. I love San Juan, Puerto Rico, because you can see different places, of course, in the Caribbean. San Juan's got some wonderful places to see, too. You've got the forts that have been around for hundreds of years, and they're still very in good shape, too. And I know that mentioned that with the Resilient Lady, it's going to be exclusive because she's got entertainment for the first time, new entertainment, I think, too. But also, what's good too is if you think about flying to San Juan, Puerto Rico to take a cruise, the good thing is you don't have to worry about going through customs because it is U.S. Okay, it makes it easier, and also as far as the Caribbean kaleidoscope too, with longer voyages and stays in different areas, of course, Southern Caribbean, it really gives you an opportunity to see places on board the ship and off at shore too. So that's a Resilient Lady, and I believe she's coming out later on this year. I can check on that too in a minute, but the Resilient Lady is going to really make waves in the Caribbean with her 7, 8, 10, and 10-night sailing voyages that are going to actually be starting from the beautiful port of San Juan, Puerto Rico, which I think is fantastic too. So keep that in mind too, because like I said, we got some beautiful, beautiful ongoing ships coming out too this year. We had some new ones that came out already. It's fun to see the Sun Princess that just started sailing, of course, this week. And last Saturday, we had, of course, the Carnival Jubilee being christened. She had been sailing since, I think, December from Galveston, Texas. But the point is they just did hold off on the christening until right now. She was christened by Gwen Stefani, the world-renowned singer, whatever, but great person too. And as mentioned, I think I mentioned before too with the new designs. As mentioned, the Sun Princess is the first of their Sphere-class ships. It's also liquefied-powered natural gas Sphere-class ship, and it's got some new things going on too. I know she's got the first at-sea roll glider above deck number 19, and they've got this Hollywood's Magic Castle. Looks great. They've also got dining, including a restaurant in partnership with artist Romero Brito. And that's really, I think, kind of fun too. And of course, I've mentioned Utopia. It's the biggest ship ever built, but no, Utopia is going to be their 6th class of ship with Oasis class ship with Royal Caribbean, and she'll be offering 3 and 4-night cruises, which is great too, because once again, if people have not taken a cruise before, it might be good to try a shorter cruise. Okay, some people like to take a shorter cruise, see if they like it, and then decide if they like it. They can actually book future ones too for longer stays too. But what's good too is with Utopia Seas, which is going to be another ship coming out by Royal Caribbean. It's going to be their 6th Oasis class ship, and she'd be the first to debut 3 and 4 night cruises with the Utopia Seas, which I think is fun too. They've got a poolside food truck. They've got a new Pesky Parrot Caribbean tiki bar. They've got this Ultimate Abyss dry slide, okay, that has these booster rollers and transparent racing windows. For dining, they've got this new locomotive journey, which I think is fun. It has an immersive experience too. I mean, who would want to actually just locomotive journey, which is great. Of course, this is for dining, so you won't have to actually be on a train. You stay on the ship, but it really looks like a fun experience. So think about that too. Also, with Giovanni's Italian kitchen and wine bar, it actually spans 2 different levels. It has a cantilevered alfresco terrace, and then Azumi in the park provides a really takeaway window with their Central Park neighborhood. And with Central Park, great areas, beautiful. I mean, with Royal Caribbean, they've got their Central Park. They've got different areas too on board the ship. That's really, I think, fun too. Keep it in mind too, because once again, just fun to think about that too. Okay. I think I mentioned too is with I was talking about Virgin Voyages and their new ship, the Brilliant Lady, that was delayed. It was supposed to start in 2023, got delayed. I think it is coming out probably this year. I'm not sure next year, but once again, with their other ship, as mentioned, the Resilient Lady, she's going to actually be offering ships sailing out of Salem, Puerto Rico. So that's their new home port, which is great too. So anyway, as mentioned, Brilliant Lady is the 4th ship in their Lady Ship series with Virgin Voyages. These include the Scarlet Lady, which I saw when she first debuted in 2021, and the Valiant Lady, the Resilient Lady too. But like I said, the Brilliant Lady is going to be coming out. I'm not sure when, but offers some wonderful things too. And then of course, definitely keep that in mind too, because we've got some wonderful things going on too. And another ship coming out too is, you think about Cunard Line, they've been on sailing for over hundreds of years, I think over 150 years, but they've got their first new ship coming out in a while. It's called the Queen Anne. It's larger than their last 2 Queen ships. They call them their Queen ships. And she is going to be coming out later this year, I think in the summertime, but it's larger than their 2 other ships. Should be 1,065 feet long versus their previous ships, the Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria, which are 965 feet long. And what's good too is with the Queen Anne, she will accommodate 2,996 guests. Okay. And so she'll cover about 900 more passengers. Once again, too, it just, they've got some new areas on board the ship. They've got their wellness studio. They've got restaurants that specialize in Italian, and steak seafood. Also, they've got their intimate entertainment venue, which is called Bright Light Society. And another one coming out that you might not be aware of is Ritz-Carlton. Ritz-Carlton started a couple years ago. And what they did was they've got their second yacht ship. They call them their yacht ships. It's called the Ilma, and she is coming out this year. And it's their second yacht ship. And it's also the first of their 2 liquefied natural gas operated ships, new build ships. And she measures 46,700 feet, gross register tons, compared to their first yacht ship, the Everima, which accommodates 456 berths, is what the new Ilma is going to accommodate. She'll also have a larger selection as far as suites and categories with terraces, and the marina is expanded with 2 mezzanine features too, which is great too. So kind of keep in mind too, because once again, Ritz-Carlton started a couple of years ago, and they launched their first kind of like yacht ship, and this is their second one that they're actually launching this year too, which is great. Something else too that we got is, as mentioned, cruise lines are really, really, really pushing forward to make sure that they're going to be operating on different venues, not just regular gas. So liquefied natural gas is one that cruise lines are really, really focusing on to operate their ships, which is great. And as mentioned, they want to be net zero carbon by 2050, but right now cruise lines are jumping on this like crazy in a very, very positive way, which is great because once again, that really protects the environment more than ever. And having these liquefied natural gas ships is fantastic. And we're seeing more of that. It's just kind of become a common thing, which is great. And Sun Princess just started sailing, of course, on February 28th, 2 days ago. The Queen Anne is coming out later on this year, new designs, and also with the Ritz-Carlton, their newest second yacht, the Ilma, has some new design, a little bit bigger, but still, which is great too, because once again, with the new ships coming out, 5 of these new 10 ships are actually being powered by liquefied natural gas. And these include, of course, the Sun Princess, yes, Utopia of the Seas, which is coming out later on this year. This is one of Royal Caribbean's new ships. The Ilma. Oh, Silver Ray is actually a new ship coming out by Silversea Cruises. I'll show you about that later on too. And then, of course, the Disney Treasure. And it's great because, once again, they're really, really focusing on using liquefied natural gas to operate the ships too, which is great because, once again, it's a way for them to really protect the environment more than ever. And I think that's wonderful too. So definitely think about that too. I know that Viking Cruises has got another ship coming out. It's a Viking Vela, and this ship is a little larger than their other ships. The Viking Vela is going to actually be 784 feet long, and will have a capacity for 998 passengers, compared to one of their previous ships, which was early vessels accommodated 930 guests, and and as far as the gross register tonnage, once again, with the Viking Vela, her gross register tonnage is actually 48,900 gross register tons. Some of the previous ships were 47,800 gross register tons, too. Oh, something else that's coming up, too, is we have a new ship coming out last year, a new cruise line, Explorer Journeys. Explorer Journeys is actually one of the new cruise lines that started last year, and it is actually, I think, wonderful. It's a new luxury cruise line, bringing the ocean life to sea. It's owned and operated by the MSC Group. The MSC Group actually is family owned. They started several years ago, as far as having their container shipping company, which is great. Then they launched MSC Cruises. And what they did is they've expanded MSC Cruises. They have an office, of course, now in Florida. But also Explorer Journeys is actually their new cruise line, which they launched officially last year with the Explorer 1. And what they do is the Explorer 2 is going to be coming out too later on this year. And it's a twin sister ship to the Explorer 1, which came out last year. And with Explorer 2, she also measures 63,900 gross register tons. She's got 3 outdoor pools, a fourth that has a retractable glass roof. They've got 64 cabanas, 9 different restaurants. They've got indoor, outdoor spa and wellness facilities too. It looks fantastic. I have written about the Explorer 1 now, and definitely want to write about the Explorer 2 because it looks fantastic. Because she will actually have a retractable glass roof on one of their pools. Their fourth pool will have a retractable glass roof. If you've never experienced it before, it's definitely worth it. It's beautiful. I've had a chance to explore it, have experienced it myself too with another cruise line. But it's really, really great too, because once again, sometimes cruise lines have these retractable glass roofs, which is great too. So that's great. But definitely keep it in mind too. I mentioned the Silver Nova. That is actually Silversea Cruises' new ship coming out this year. And it's a sister to the Silver Ray came out last year in 2023. What they did was their sister ship is the Silver Ray. And the Silver Ray actually is using liquefied natural gas and battery power at sea. Also, she's intended to harness the hydrogen-based fuel cells to eliminate emissions in port too. And what they're doing is it's got the marquee alfresco dining venue, also an ocean view salt, they call it salt, SALT lab, and the chef's table on a high deck too. And the Silver Ray, which comes out later on this year, is actually 54,700 gross registered tons. Silver Sea Cruises is a fantastic cruise line, very luxury. I'll share more about that too, but we've got a lot of good ships coming out this year, and it's so fun and exciting to think about this too, because it builds up excitement. And of course, the efforts the cruise lines are doing to make sure their ships are operated by liquefied natural gas, I think is just a wonderful way to show what they are doing in the cruise industry itself too. Something else I want to mention too is there's a surprise that just took place this week. Yes, with Virgin Voyages, that is actually the cruise line that Richard Branson started. And they've got, of course, their 4 ships. The 4th one's coming out later on this year. But what they did was Sir Richard Branson actually surprised passengers on a Delta flight. Yes. Okay. On a recent Delta Airlines flight, what happened was Virgin Voyages surprised those passengers on that special Delta Airlines flight. What they did was Sir Richard Branson, who was the founder of Virgin Voyages, actually gave them a cruise vacation on his new ship coming out, the Resilient Lady. And this happened on a direct flight from Atlanta to San Juan. It was chosen in partnership with Delta Airlines to celebrate the unveiling of the Resilient Lady's new home port in San Juan, Puerto Rico, later this year. And the Resilient Ladies revealed some different Caribbean itineraries scheduled this December and they're now on sale right now too. So anyway, but Richard Branson, who was the founder of Virgin Group and Virgin Voyages, boarded the flight himself to give all the Delta Sky Miles members, 18 years and older, of course, a free voyage to sail during the ship's inaugural season in San Juan, Puerto Rico, later on this year. As mentioned, she's going to be offering different cruise lengths out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. And as Richard Branson mentioned, he said, of course, the Caribbean has always been home for many years, my home for many years. I'm very excited to welcome the Resilient Lady as she sails from San Juan, Puerto Rico to visit the region's most beautiful destinations. He said, my excitement clearly shouldn't be contained. So we came up with the way to celebrate this with a personal invitation and surprise for some unexpected guests on a Delta flight to San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we're grateful for our partners at Delta who joined in the fun and have been long-time venture partners of our airline, Virgin Voyages. And also we look forward to, of course, showing everyone what it's like to set sail on the Virgin Way. And what's good too with Virgin Voyages, they call their guests on board sailors. Yes. And with Virgin Voyages, you have to be 18 years old to sail on the ship. Of course, that's why when they gave out this free cruise, you had to be 18 years older. Of course, that's just part of what they do. But prior to these passengers boarding the flight on Delta Airlines, Virgin Voyages actually had a full department gate takeover. What they did is they brought to life elements of the ship's onboard experience to the passengers at the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Passengers were treated to original choreography from Virgin Voyages award-winning entertainment, and on board with Instagrammable photo moments, of course, and vignettes of the gate, especially drinks, and of course, music to bring up the vibe too, which I thought was great too. In addition, of course, in addition to the flight entertainment, pre-flight entertainment, Sir Richard was actually joined by Tim Mapies, who was Delta Airlines Senior Vice President and Chief Communications Officer, for a generous game of roulette. And of course, the passerbys that were going by, of course, were really invited to spin the wheel of the prizes too, which included Delta and Virgin Atlantic flights, Virgin hotel stays, Virgin Voyages cruise, Delta vacation packages, gift cards, and high-end swag. And with these two award-winning brands coming together, Delta's senior team vice president, chief communications officer Tim Mapes mentioned Delta's really thrilled to partner with such Richard Branson and Virgin Voyages for this special surprise and delight for our SkyMile members on the flight. He said, this is one more way which we're adding value to the program and, of course, unlocking exclusive experiences for our members. And stay tuned for more with Virgin Voyages. And, of course, with Branson's newest travel ban, which is really unstoppable fleet, it really has been recognized by some wonderful things like Condé Nast Travelers Gold List, Hot List, of course, and they were awarded the Best Dining Experiences Entertainment by Cruise Critics readers. And, of course, this fall, the Resilient Lady is completing her inaugural season abroad, but then she's going to actually embark on her new home port in San Juan, Puerto Rico this fall. And with this news, Virgin Voyages is now unveiling some stunning new ports across the Caribbean and Latin America. And on deck, they have 7, 8, 10, 11-night voyages. They're going to be letting guests visit St. Martin, St. Vincent, Colombia, and Dominica. What's good, too, is we think about Delta Airlines, and actually they've been serving Puerto Rico for more than 70 years. And in the past year, they've grown from closest to the island by 11%. So they've been growing like crazy, flying more flights to San Juan, Puerto Rico. And they offer service between Puerto Rico and 5 Delta hubs, too, which really makes it very easy and convenient, too. And Delta is also a partner. They already partner with Virgin Voyages because it owns 49% of Virgin Atlantic Airways, too. But once again, if you think about maybe taking a cruise and you're interested in maybe trying Virgin Voyages, a fun way to do this would be thinking about taking the Resilient Lady when she starts sailing out of San Juan, Puerto Rico this fall, because she'll be offering 7, 8, 10 a night, 11-night sailings, and with these sailings to the different Caribbean ports, including, of course, some other areas, including Colombia and Dominica, were beautiful. It's a good way to really, really explore Virgin Voyages in a new way with different itineraries, too. And with Virgin Voyages, of course, you have to be 18 years or older to sail on their ships. As we've seen in previous commercials you've had before, no kids allowed. Well, anyway, I had a chance to see and be aboard the Scarlet Lady when she actually was debuting her first sailings in Miami back in 2021, after she'd been delayed, of course, due to the pandemic. But it was good to be able to experience the ship. I was on the ship for, several hours. We boarded about 6 o'clock in the evening. That was back when we had to have a COVID rapid antigen test done, too. We got aboard the ship, and we had different areas to see. What's good with Virgin Voyages, they've got different choices for dining. You don't have the main dining rooms on board the ship. You've got different choices. You can pick and choose where you want to dine. And I had a beautiful experience there. Of course, we had entertainment to see. The shows that we saw were fantastic. The pool area is beautiful. And one thing I thought was really, really fun is they've got a special ice cream parlor on board the ship. It's called Lick Me Till. And the ice cream was just phenomenal. I mean, who could not pass up ice cream, especially when you go by Lick Me Till? Like, okay, got to try it. But it was great to see the ship, too. And, of course, they've been growing now with their Resilient Lady. That's going to be their 4th ship coming out, of course. And I think it's fun. They should be sailing year-round out of San Juan, Puerto Rico coming out this fall. So definitely keep it in mind, too, because that's, I think, so fun to think about, too. We need that more than ever. A bit more about Carnival Cruise Lines and the Carnival Jubilee, okay? The Carnival Jubilee was actually officially christened last week by, of course, a really, really fantastic godmother, and they live streamed, of course, too. That took place last Saturday. Gwen Stefani was a godmother, and she's sailing year-round out of Galveston, Texas, yes. And we're seeing a lot of cruise lines that are actually basing some ships out of Galveston, Texas. I know MSC Cruises is doing that too. Other cruise lines are, but what they're doing too is they've actually got a new private outline they're working on too, which is great, and it's going to be called their Celebration Key. Okay, and what's good about private out islands is a lot of cruise lines started doing that a long time ago, but it's a great way to actually, be in a special area just for those cruise guests. The ships actually dock. You can get off. They have different entertainment venues to see. You've got sandy beaches. You've got some entertainment venues. It really depends on the cruise line, of course, and their out island. But one thing that came up too is with Celebration Key, they released more details about it too. It's currently being developed in the Bahamas, and what they're doing is this is really the first cruise port destination that's being specifically designed for Carnival guests, and they want to make sure that they're working towards to get it opening for the Celebration Key in July of 2025. So it's going to take another year, but once again, Celebration Key is a unique Bahamian experience with an abundance of amenities and features. We'll have a 1 mile stretch of white sand beach, shore excursions, numerous recreational and leisure facilities for both families and adults. They've got Bahamian operated retail food and beverages, options for guests to enjoy too. And it's got adjacent cruise pier, so actually be able to accommodate 2 different Carnival's Excel class ships simultaneously. So what's good too is with the cruise pier right there adjacent, you can walk off the ship right there on the island and walk up back onto the different things too. I think it's really fun too to really think about that too, because once again, I think it's great to think about when you take a cruise. I love making sure I have an extra day private island that the cruise lines have too. They're beautiful, and that's, I think, fun thing to think about too, because once again, you've got different options. Going to cruise ports is great too, of course, but once again, if you want to just be able to relax, and what these private out islands the cruise lines have with this one, it's great too, is a good way to really walk off the ship, just relax, enjoy the views, whatever they got as far as entertainment, different experiences too, and go back on the ship, back off the ship on their island too, which is great. But they've got entertainment on the island. They've got different venues as far as dining, of course, too. No surcharges, which is great. And it's a great way to really, really just kind of relax itself. It's another way to really have a great day at a private out island and not worry about having to run around and being back on the ship by a certain time, because the ship's docked right there, which is great too. So, but I think it's fun that Carnival Cruise Line is actually creating their Ocean Key. We've got other ones that cruise lines have too, of course, but what's great is as far as the itineraries are going to be featured, that will include Carnival Key. Carnival Cruise Line had just mentioned some things too. It's like I said, their new Grand Bahamian Cruise Port destination, and they mention that they've got approximately 400 cruises that will actually bring guests to Celebration Key, and that's going to start first calls in July of 2025. And right now, which is actually, it started this back in the fall last year, guests could actually book these first 12 Carnival ships sailing regularly from 8 different home ports that can be visiting the Celebration Key in 2025 and 2026, which is great. And once again, it's a great way, because once again, with cruise people that are taking cruises, there's so many choices to choose. With Carnival, such a wide range of ships and home ports and itineraries, but ones that actually visit their new exclusive destinations sounds really, really fun. And once again, they've seen a lot of interest, of course, in this too, with Celebration Key, because once again, it won't open until July 2025, but once again, it's going to be around the corner anyway, because we're already into 2024. And once again, they're going to have more details too, of course, too. But located on the south side of the Grand Bahamian Island, Bahama Island, Celebration Key is going to offer a variety of different fun things, relaxation, adventure options for everybody, and guests can enjoy. How much they want to just relax, enjoy different things, enjoy the pristine white sand beaches, the Mile Beach, of course. They've got authentic Bahamian shopping and dining options. They've got excursions to explore the beautiful Isle of Grand Bahama. And once again, too, is with this destination, as far as the features, they'll be anchored around the world's largest freshwater lagoons in the Caribbean that offer numerous activities, of course. It's great. And once again, as mentioned, 2 different Excel class ships can actually dock at their adjacent cruise pier, which is great. So that's good too. And once again, I know they mentioned some of the ships are going to be actually offering a visit to Celebration Key from Port Miami. They mentioned it's going to be the Carnival Celebration and the Carnival Conquest. And the Carnival Celebration is going to be offering, let's see here, a 7-day sailing Eastern Caribbean cruise and Western Caribbean cruises from July 2025. Okay, and that's going to be the Carnival Celebration, Carnival Conquest. They sail from Port Miami, but people that sail on those ships be able to visit Celebration Key. Some other ships coming up, the Carnival Conquest is going to be offering 3- and 4-day Bahama cruises sailings beginning July 18th of 2025. Also from Port Canaveral, the Mardi Gras, the Carnival Freedom, and the Carnival Glory are going to be offering different itineraries that will include their Carnival Key, which is great too, Celebration Key. But anyway, it's great because once again, the Mardi Gras is going to be sailing on 7-day Eastern and Western Caribbean cruises starting from July 18th of 2025. She'll be offering a 9-day Eastern Caribbean cruise sailing on October 30th of 2025. In addition, the Mardi Gras will be sailing on 2 different 14-day transatlantic voyages. The first from Port Canaveral to Barcelona on September 13th of 2025. The second will be going from Barcelona to Port Canaveral on October 16th of 2025. Another one will be the Carnival Freedom, which is going to be sailing on 4- and 5-day Bahama sailings beginning July 19th, 2025. The Carnival Glory is going to be sailing on 3- and 4-day Bahama cruises sailings, of course, from July 21st through 2025. And of course, as mentioned, we've got the Galveston Port 2, the Carnival Dream, and the Carnival Legend. R2, the Carnival Dream, will be offering an 8-day Eastern Caribbean sailing from Galveston, Texas, starting July 26, 2025, which will actually go to Celebration Key. And the Carnival Legend will feature the Celebration Key is going to be offering several different 10-day exotic Eastern Caribbean cruises. Something else too is Carnival does have sailings from New Orleans, and they've got one ship, the Carnival Liberty, is going to be sailing on 7- and 8-day Eastern Caribbean voyages from July 20th, 2025. That will include, of course, their new Celebration Key. Another one, they have a ship that sails periodically from Baltimore, the Carnival Pride, and she's going to be sailing on 7-day Bahama sailings from July 20th, 2025, along with the 14-day Carnival Journeys Panama cruise on January 11th, 2026. And from Jacksonville, the Carnivalation. From July 25th of 2025, the Carnivalation will be offering 4- and 5-day Bahama cruises. And then, of course, from Norfolk, Virginia, the Carnival Sunshine. The Carnival Sunshine will be sailing on 6- and 8-day Bahama cruises starting from October 18th of 2025. Another one is Mobile, Alabama. Yes, the Carnival Spirit. And the Carnival Spirit will be offering 6- and 8-day sailings, Bahama cruise sailings, beginning November 2nd of 2025. So keep that in mind. And once again, You can look at different itineraries if you go to, I think, their website, which is great too. It's just a fantastic thing about it too. It really is exciting too, because once again, I know that they've got the 2025 and 2026 itineraries that feature Carnival Celebration Key, and then I know they're going to be offering more too. And once again, too, it just they're continuing to work with the government of the Bahamas, local Grand Bahama officials too, and also community leaders too, which is great. So definitely, they're going to be featuring more information too later on. That's, I think, really, really exciting, fantastic news too. So I'm just really excited about the Carnival New Celebration Key. It sounds fantastic what they're doing. Looks fantastic, great too. Because once again, I really like taking a cruise that does include a private out island. It's beautiful. Just a great way to really explore different things, relax, do what you want to do. You can get back on the ship, of course, too. But I know that Island's been doing this for a long time. When cruising first time and coming back, they focus on that too before, and then things kind of open up doors too. But another cruise line that actually is going to be home porting in Puerto Rico is one you might not heard of, but it's Sea Cloud Cruises. And they got their Sea Cloud Spirit, which is going to home port in Puerto Rico in 2025. And they've got, they just announced some new things this past month. They're going to offering 4 new itineraries featuring Puerto Rico aboard their Sea Cloud Spirit. And the ship will be based in San Juan, Puerto Rico throughout January 2025. It's going to let guests see the Castillo San Felipe del Moro. It's called El Moro, okay? And they've got different itineraries that include overnight stays, of course, in the Caribbean ports such as St. Bart's, Virgin Gorda, Norman Island, also different activities. There are beach barbecues, sea shanty sing-alongs, and photo safaris. And what's great about Old San Juan is they got the cobblestone streets, live music, and just beautiful, beautiful way to really enjoy Puerto Rico. It's beautiful. I love the forts too. I love the old forts. Been there several times too, but just great because once again, I know that offering these special sailings in 2025 are great too, and Sea Cloud Spirit, of course.
Sounds like amazing things going on and all along those lines. So that's great that you got that going on. A friend of mine may be taking, and I have another friend that's taking the tech job on cruise ships. So I was just wondering, what advice would you give to folks that are looking at doing work, particularly on the tech side in theater on cruise ships and all along those lines? So I just wondering your thoughts
Right.
on that and what advice you would give to folks.
Well, I know that it's a different way. I'm not sure how the application process goes. You can check with what they do too, because once again, the entertainment of our cruise ships is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they do. I mean, they've got some cruise lines have regular Broadway productions, which is amazing to see, and the entertainers are so amazing. I mean, and once again, you probably go to it. Think about what cruise line maybe you want to maybe think about working on, and then see what entertainment they have, and then kind of navigate waters that way too. Because once again, they've got the shoreside jobs, but they've got the positions on one of the ships. But I actually knew someone that actually had worked um, in entertainment, a fantastic dancer on Royal Caribbean years ago. But I think go back to seeing because each ship has got different types of entertainment. When you have bigger ships, they've got the Broadway entertainment shows. That's one thing that I think was really great about when Norwegian Cruise Line started years and years ago. They really specialize on really fantastic entertainment. I think Cruise Line's jumped in that too. But once again, they customize shows too, and you've got so many options out there now more than ever. I mean, even with Icon of the Seas, they've got their big area that's inside, but they have entertainment there too, which is great. You got
Yeah.
the water shows too, which is great too. So just it kind of depends on what your talents are. That's a good question. What are your talents? What do you want to do? And I think goes back to just figuring out the right fits for you and what you have done in the past because they always they've got of course musicians on board. Um, they've got the people that actually do the musicals, the singing, the dancing. It's amazing as far as the shows on board the ships. And I can't imagine how these people do it. I mean, it's great. It just because one thing about cruise ships too is with the entertainment aboard the ships, unlike other places, you don't pay to attend those shows. Where if you go to Vegas, what do? They charge you to see different shows. Where on cruise ships, the entertainment is included, and it's so much diversity out there now more than ever. And you can pick and choose.
Oh yeah, choose what you want to do, and like you said
Right,
before, you can even get involved in pickleball and get involved in some of the sports activities. And of course, there's always that amazing food and all along those lines. So there are definitely different things that you can do and different ways that you can be involved in what's going on in that space and everything. And like I said, there's different types. There's those that are going on the big ocean, and like we talked about before, there's the river cruises as well that
yes,
might be existing here and existing in a number of other places, because I know that there is Avalon, which I know you've talked about quite a bit,
yes,
and all along those lines. So there's definitely a number of things that folks can do to get involved in the different ways and the different things that are taking place in that space. So it's always
right,
good that you've got these various options that folks can go to and all in that kind of way. So I'll
right.
definitely be thinking about that. But I just had that quick question because I have another friend that actually works for Disney, but that's more like the Disney traveling shows. So
Right, right.
they work there and they've actually been part of the Pod TV family. And I think they're going to go to Bali because they're getting ready to celebrate because they have a very young career. They started when they were young and they're now they had their 30th birthday. And I think that they will be celebrating in Bali with some friends and some mentors and all along those lines. So, but they've got some very serious responsibilities because that particular friend is actually in charge of a lot of the logistics for the traveling show. So definitely they
Right,
might even be traveling on boats and planes to get to the different places. Because I know they've been to Europe. I think they've been to Asia. Not 100% sure, but I think they've been to Asia. And I know they've been throughout the U.S. Because as we know, Disney isn't just the theme parks. It's also a lot of traveling shows, and sometimes you can get jobs on those as well,
yeah,
including Disney doing some stuff with the boats because there's the whole Disney boat line. So Disney is a very big company
right.
that's also involved in the cruise space as well.
Yeah, because I actually had a chance to do a Disney cruise the first year she started. It was great to experience it after being on another cruise line that actually had a partnership with Disney, and then Disney started their own cruise line, so they exited, did another partnership. But to go on Disney when they started in the late 1990s was really an interesting experience because with them, the dining experiences were really fun. Um, they also had an adults only area too, which is great. And they don't have any casinos on board their ships. They still don't, which is fine. I'm not a gambler anyway. But the point is, we had an adults only area just for us for entertainment things too, which is great. But also, what was great too is with the dining experiences. What happened was we actually had went to different restaurants every night. Okay, with a different theme. But the point is, our staff went with us, so we had the same waiter, assistant waiter with us every
Wow.
night. We just switched different restaurants because they had different cuisines, which is great. It was just such a fun experience, and they've added more to it that too. So
Yeah, that
definitely,
adds a lot. That adds a lot to the experience, I'm sure, and probably
right.
helps you with that particular trip that made it just as enjoyable, if not more enjoyable. So it's always
Yes,
fascinating when you've got these kind of opportunities and all along those lines.
right, right. But they just did a great job. I was really impressed with them too. Um, don't have kids myself. I've got nieces and nephews that are grown up now too. But the point is, it was fun because you could tell parents talking about their kids had their own areas to go to during the day, and sometimes their kids didn't want to leave. They're having so much fun in their areas, they don't want to come back with their parents.
Hmm.
But how fun is that? They're different age groups too, which is great. I just loved it. I just loved it. It was great too. It was just fantastic too. So yes,
Yep, definitely. That's
they did
something
such a great
people.
job. Like I said, they've added more too over the years, and their new ships coming up too. I like that Disney Treasure. That sounds fantastic. I just like the name, the Disney Treasure. Okay, because that's the one that's got their haunted mansion parlor, which I like. Have you ever been to the haunted mansion Disney? Well, yes, it's kind of fun, but they've got their haunted mansion parlor. It's a bar.
Wow.
Okay, and they've got some new entertainment coming out on the Disney Theater. Um, and what they're doing is they're going to have a new Broadway style production. They haven't mentioned. Oh, I know it's going to be called the Tale of Moana, And then they got the Piazza de Coco, which is a new family themed restaurant that's based on the film Coco. But like I said, to have the Broadway style production, The Tale of Moana, is really fun. It sounds fun too.
That sounds like that would be real fun.
It does. It does. I just love it. It's just so exciting to hear about new shows, what they're offering too, because there's so many choices out there. It's like, okay, people say, what do you want to do? I said, well, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I got a chance to be on the Celebrity Summit, the pre-christening cruise. Okay, back end of November. That's when it's got two co-captains. Okay, they were busy, so they weren't really on the ship because it was the pre-christening type thing. But once again, I started sailing on summer cruises when they first started years ago. And my original passenger number with summer cruises was 209.
209,
I still have my card. Yes, I've shown her their presents. They love it. They get a kick out of it. Yep, I said I'm very loyal. But the point is, they really kind of innovated cuisine years and years ago. But what's good too is with the Celebrity Scent, they've got different things too, which is great too. I mean, beautiful areas, but every ship's got different things to pull you into. I'm really excited about the Sun Princess. That sounds great too. I'm so sorry they got delayed for a couple weeks, but they just officially start sailing on February 28th, which is great, in the Mediterranean. Then she will be coming, I think, to Caribbean in the fall.
Sounds like that's going to be truly amazing.
Which is great.
All along those lines. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yes. But good things coming out too. Because as I tell people, good ship happens. And it's just so much excitement as far as the cruise industry, because there's so much to look forward to too, where, when we went through COVID-19, of course, you were kind of like working from home and you couldn't travel anywhere. And, you had this pent up demand more than ever too. And I think one thing that came up too is we're seeing a lot of interest when it comes to more adventure types of things too. I was talking to a friend of mine too, who's worked in the cruise industry for years. She's working with another travel company, but it's great too, because once again, we talked about the other night, and I really think there's a lot of interest when it comes to exploring different areas, that adventure type experience too. I mean, one thing is, the Antarctic cruises are taking off like crazy. They're very careful what they do, but once again, I think really people are really looking into that new type of adventure. Maybe they don't want to be in a big ship. But once again, too, there's so many options out there now that weren't out before. It really kind of builds up excitement because you got so many more choices to choose from too.
You got tons of choices. And speaking of those choices, I do have, I think, one of those videos, and it might be involving Alaska. I'm waiting for it to get ready and all along those lines. So hopefully it'll be ready to play shortly. And I think it's actually Norwegian. It might be Norwegian Bliss and all along those lines. But we'll be playing that shortly, or I might do it the old-fashioned way and all along those lines. I think I might just do it the old-fashioned way and the way that we used to do it, and all in that space. So if you hold on one second, I'll do a shared screen, and we'll get to the Norwegian Bliss and what they're all about, and all along those lines. So if you hold on one second, we'll get ready to do that, and then we'll get ready to play this particular commercial about what they're doing and all in that space. So if you hold on a second, we're going to give you a little taste of the Norwegian Bliss. Make sure I got
glide through your bucket list on one of our newest ships, Norwegian.
Start back from the beginning.
Get ready to glide through your bucket list on one of our newest ships, Norwegian Bliss. Race the sun on a thrilling 2-level racetrack at sea, zooming past Alaska's glaciers or Mexico's secluded beaches. Wage a galactic battle under the stars in a family-friendly game of laser tag. Make waves in our aqua park or dare to whoosh over the side of the ship. The splashes come in all sizes in our kids' aqua park. Massage? Sauna? Salt room? Yes, please. Slide into tranquility in our spa and thermal suite. And unwind after a full day of activities back in your stateroom. From studios to family suites, we have accommodations to match every travel style. Look no further than the Haven to experience true luxury and exclusivity at sea. Your concierge and private butler await your arrival. The phrase, "a room with a view," is taken to a whole new level with our 2 observation lounges that are custom built for the spectacular. Take in some fresh air and stroll the waterfront, where every seat boasts the best view in the house. Dive into the heart of Norwegian bliss at 678 Ocean Place. Charge up your morning with a latte and sweeten your afternoon with chocolate truffles. And show the true meaning of friendship by splitting a smoked rack of mouth-watering ribs or sharing fresh guacamole with a side of margaritas. Whether you prefer your cocktail shaken, your wine chilled, or your beer craft brewed, toast extraordinary days and kick off legendary nights at one of our unique bars and lounges. Whether you're cruising the Mexican Riviera or the wilds of Alaska, there's one way to describe the experiences awaiting you on board: imagine bliss.
Well, that was the Norwegian Bliss and a little bit about what they've got going on and all along those lines. So that was a little bit about one of their newer lines and all along those lines. So I thought it'd give us a little taste of that and everything. So like I said, usually try to get us at least 1 or 2 videos, and that was the one for today and everything. So I know you still got a few more minutes. I'm gonna pass off and let you close out. But yeah, that's just some of the things I was going to share with you on this particular episode.
That's great. That's great. Like I said, with Norwegian, they offer different sailings, of course, and they've got new ships, of course, and new ones coming out too. And they really kind of led the way years and years ago with entertainment, but other cruise lines do that too. But once again, Alaska is a beautiful place to go to, and the Alaska season is opening up pretty soon. It usually goes from May to maybe September, of course. But it's a really beautiful way to really see Alaska. And what's good too is I've got a friend actually who's doing Alaskan cruise this summer. She's already got it reserved, booked. It's going to be a family type experience with 2 different staterooms, which is great. And what's great too is it's a great way to really see another area of the world that's beautiful. And you've got different choices too. A lot of cruise lines do sail to Alaska now. We've got, of course, Princess Cruises. Holland America Line's been going there for years. As a Princess, Norwegian Cruise Line goes there too, and just so many different options, of course, too. And you've got options as far as where you want to sail out of. You can sail to Alaska from Seattle if you want to, and of course Vancouver, which is gorgeous. Also, with different cruise lines, they've got pre and post cruise stays. Sometimes people do choose to do that too. I'd like to do it sometime too, because then you can actually go in Alaska first and then take a southbound sailing back to Vancouver or Seattle, or vice versa. But it's great, and it's just great things to experience too in a different way too. And the wildlife is just amazing. I mean, the first cruise my cruise to Alaska, I saw whales first night, and of course I went to Juneau, different places too. It's great just to see different areas too. So keep that in mind too, because the Alaska season is shorter, of course, due to the weather conditions. But now it's opening up right now. They'll be sailing during May through September this year. It's just what they do. But keep that in mind too, because it is a once-in-a-life experience. I'd like to go back there sometime too myself. And as far as, like I said, different ships and sailings, we've got new ships coming out this year. And new ships have just debuted late fall 2023. And of course, new ones now and new ones coming out. So definitely keep that in mind. So many different choices out there too. Plus, think about where you want to sail from, because once again, when the cruise industry first started years ago, it really sailed out of Port Miami. And they've added more ports of where cruise lines ships sail from. Of course, Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale is great. Galveston has really taken off like crazy in a very, very positive way. So keep that in mind too. And of course, Seattle to go to Alaska, plus Vancouver, of course. You've got cruise ships that are sailing year-round now out of New York. And of course, just different areas. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, gives you so many more options too as far as you want to see. Another great port to sail out of would be San Juan, Puerto Rico. As mentioned, that's one thing that they're doing with the Virgin Voyages Resilient Lady, and also Sea Cloud. Their one ship's going to sail out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's going to start home porting there. Sea Cloud Spirit will be home porting there in 2025. So keep that in mind because you've got so many choices too. And but just think about different things coming out that you want to look forward to. Because once again, it's great to really think about where you want to go, what you want to see. A cruise line gives you different options. As we mentioned too, I'll talk more about that later on too, is with River Cruise Lines over in Europe. They're fantastic. It's a great way to really see different areas of Europe. And with the river cruises in Europe, they are smaller ships, but they actually let people get on and off, which is great. So you don't have to hop hotels. But definitely keep that in mind too, because with river cruising, it really fits a need now more than ever. It's a great way to explore Europe, other places too. So we'll talk more about that in the future. Once again, though, thank you so much for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. And until next week, I'll be sharing more. But thank you so much.
Sounds great. And I figure we close out with Sylvia Earle and that whole sustainability effort that she's been part of and all along those lines. So I figure that's what we'll close out with on this particular episode of Good Shit Happens. And we'll be back with having you next week on Good Ship Happens. And we'll definitely see a great conversation at that particular time.
I'm Dr. Sylvia Earle, a marine biologist, oceanographer, explorer, and I'm passionate about the protection of this blue planet. I grew up next to the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico, and I've witnessed how much the ocean has changed and how marine life has been endangered. But I know there is still time to help the ocean, which is why I was drawn to the Aponte family's sustainability mission. Explorer Journeys has a genuine ambition to connect people with the wonders of the sea, its marine life, its communities, spiritually, physically, and intellectually. We share the same values and have the same objectives to deepen people's relationship with the ocean, to explore, protect, and restore. Explorer Journeys calls it the ocean state of mind, a sensibility that will ensure the protection of this precious blue planet. Through my foundation, Mission Blue, we're working on ocean conservation, inspiring hope with champions across the world. Beginning with my extraordinary role as godmother to Explorer One, we will be heralding a meaningful collaboration between myself, Mission Blue, and Explorer Journeys and the MSC Foundation towards preserving and restoring the world's oceans, the blue heart of the planet.